pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good evening, everyone. We're going to first start off with the approval of the October 10th, 2023 minutes.
I'll make a motion, we approve the October 10th, 2023 minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, we'll go on to the mayor's report. So, a couple things. We're going to have yard waste pickup every Wednesday through December 13th. It just consists of grass clippings, leaves, small branches not in excess of 3 feet and or 4 inches in diameter. Branches must be bundled in armful loads. Yard waste not to be mixed with mulch, dirt, or any other residential refuse or any kind of pet waste. And residents should place lawn waste curbside on Tuesday evening or Wednesday early for pickup. All yard waste must be placed in a large craft paper bags or in a container to be dumped. No plastic bags, please. Leaf pickup will be every Monday through December 4th. Residents need to be aware that if the weather's bad, it may take Public Works a little longer to get to all the streets, so please be patient. Water shutoffs. On Tuesday, November 21st, the water shutoffs will be done, unfortunately. Also, DPW personnel will be reading water meters during the week of December 4th, so you may see them out. Our town office will be closed November 23rd and 24th for the Thanksgiving holiday. With the freezing temperatures, all town streets are now snow emergency routes. So when the snow emergency plan is in effect, parking is prohibited and the violators will be getting ticketed or fines. Reminder from the Department of Public Works to disconnect your garden hose before winter. Otherwise, you run the risk of your pipes freezing and bursting since water expands when it freezes. Just a reminder that all basketball nets that are in the street or hanging into the street must be moved when Hughes is collecting trash or during snow removal. Please. The town will not be responsible for any damage caused to the basketball nets if you leave them out there. Also, remember to help our firefighters by not covering up your fire hydrant with snow. Please try to shovel around it if we get enough, and it sounds like we might this year. So that's that. One last thing that I'm super excited about. Black Friday is coming back. We have the Santa Stroll on Friday, November 24th on Black Friday at 6 o'clock. It's going to start here at the town hall. We are going to have a 6 p.m. tree lighting out front. Then we're going to stroll. Santa Claus and the fire engine will meet us here. They're going to drive down. We're going to stroll down the side to the Trinity Church, and we're going to do the lighting of the Nativity. And then at 6:30, we're going to head on down to the firehouse for the train garden, and they are also going to have photos with Santa if you want to purchase them, snacks and drinks, and like I said, obviously the train garden. There will be some vendors and food trucks at the activities building after that if anybody wants to stop up. And also Miss Belva asked me to mention that she will have our museum open. If anybody wants to stop by and take a stroll through there, she will be there, and we will also have a tree lit down there, but it'll be already lit. The only lighting will be up here. So I'm super excited about that, so hopefully everybody can make it. I will look forward to seeing everyone. It's my favorite time of year, so I hope everyone's there. I think that's about it for tonight. So, Town Administrator's Report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have the Public Works Director's report for this past month, for your review. Baptist Tower repairs are ongoing. The standpipe repairs are scheduled to be completed by Thanksgiving. Along with that, the Christmas tree for the Baptist Street Tower is due to go up on the 19th of November and will be lit on the Friday after Thanksgiving as we move into the evening hours. Just a reminder, lack of precipitation still continues, so we still remain in a voluntary conservation effort. Even though it is not summer, we still don't have the water that we should have, and we're starting a new, what they call, hydraulic year in a deficit already. So please do continue with voluntary conservation. We do have 2 applicants that are coming in for a second interview next week for the Water Operator 1 position. I'm proud to say that I finally got through the Chesapeake Bay Trust grant, so that has been submitted today for 100 recycle bins. We're hoping that that goes well. And thanks to the Carroll Community Foundation for their help with that. Next year, we're due up for our sustainability certification. I've asked Mr. Steve Miller to chair the Sustainability Committee. He's graciously accepted. With his experience doing this twice before and having this group, I think we're in really good shape to continue with that designation. I do have some action items for you all to vote on. The first one in your packet is we have decided to sell the 1992 John Deere Tractor 2955 with loader. This was a FEMA grant-funded piece of equipment. It has become no longer of use out at the farm. So we are moving in a different direction with that, and we put it out for bid, and you'll see the two bids that were received. So with that being said, behind that form, you should see an email. I hope it got into the right place. An email from Kenneth Rose. He's in the grants management section for the USA EPA, and they have approved us to sell this tractor and use it for another piece of equipment. And this is standard procedure. Once they give you money, you can sell it, but you have to put that money right back into similar equipment with that. So the first thing we'd like to do is I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the bid from Mr. Stephen Held for $33,339 and sell him the John Deere Tractor 2955 with loader.
Okay, a couple quick questions.
Sure.
One is, I understand that we purchased it with the money. If we don't repurchase something, we have to pay it back. Is that correct? Is that how I understood it?
That's correct. They will ask
Okay.
for the money back.
So we have to, okay. And
Yeah.
what's the difference between the Kubota and the John Deere that we will be putting out, between the difference?
So in the following motion, in the following, to use that money, we would like to purchase a Kubota UTV with cab, V-plow, salt spreader, and external lighting. That cost is $34,260.82. The town would add $912.82 to complete that purchase. So we got pretty close to what the funding was from the tractor, plus with the purchase of the Kubota, we can use that at the farm during spray season to repair heads, to carry pumps around, to do all that kind of work. When we're stopped spraying, we bring it back into town, put the plow and the spreader on. Now we have access to smaller areas for us to plow and not putting a truck in those tight corners and get better snow clearance.
Alleys and things, I assume?
Yes. Parking lots mostly would be like the post office, behind Spargo's, smaller circles we can move in the neighborhoods. We can move snow out with that, with a tighter turning radius, and it has a salt spreader on it as well.
Anybody have more questions?
So we have something, I understand this, the one that we have up for bid is excess and it's spare. We have something in place that if what we currently have goes down, we're not going to lose functions. Like, I'm kind of envisioning this one as
Sure.
like just hanging out, waiting just in case, the one we use goes down. Do we have something in place of it that we're not gonna have a lapse in service or?
So we have the backhoe, which
Okay.
is the front end, which we use the front end scooper, or we can move snow. We also have the Bobcat, or the skid loader, I'm sorry, is the correct term. Bobcat is a trademark term.
Okay.
We have the skid loader that we can also pick up with a shovel and move snow as well. So we have two other.
So we're good at the farm, we have options in case
Yes.
something happens.
Mhm.
Any other questions? This will be two separate motions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I guess we'll first start with the tractor, because that has to go before we can buy a UTV.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Mr. Stephen Held of $33,339 for the 1992 John Deere Tractor 2955 with loader.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
All right, next,
The next item on the agenda is to take that money, since it is a federally funded piece of equipment, and transfer it used to purchase the Kubota UTV with cab, V-plow, salt spreader, external lighting for a price of $34,260.82. Also, we will be adding $912.82 from Spray Field Supply Fund to make that purchase complete.
Questions? A motion?
I'll make a motion, we go with the staff recommendation from Essex Kubota UTV with cab, V-plow, salt spreader, and external lighting for a total amount of $34,260.82.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The item C, so now we're getting into what we talked about last month. So we have before you, we asked for two preliminary engineering reports, one from CDM Smith, one from GBM LLC. We've used both companies before. We need a PER for PFAS remediation process of our wells that we have that have turned up positive. So to start that process, we would get a preliminary engineering report. We would take that and then file with MDE for funding to start the remediation construction project. So we are asking for, to approve the proposal from GBM LLC for $28,500 to produce a PFAS remediation preliminary engineering report, and that will be in time for us to file with MDE for funding for the construction phase.
Why such a significant difference?
Um,
Is there-
So looking, not to say one is better than the other, because I'm not an engineer, but the cost per hour, I believe, is quite significant when we looked at the two bids.
And we have used GBM
Yes, we
LLC,
have.
correct? Okay.
Mhm.
In the past? Excuse me,
Did
GBM
I put it wrong?
LLC.
It's GMB, I apologize, I put it wrong.
Okay. GMB LLC.
GMB, yes, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
The GBM LLC 28.5, that's going to be paid for by the increased revenue of the water fund by transferring the 28.5, correct?
Yes, that's how we're
Right.
going to.
Should we connect these two at this point in time? Because this, in other words, I make a motion that we accept a bid of 28.5, blah, 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 which will be funded by an increase in the revenue water fund by transferring such and such, so it's connected, so it's balanced.
I
Or
don't
is that
think
not
there's-
necessary?
I was going to do a whole budget amendment with all that listed in
Right.
there, so you could vote on it all at once to cover all of these expenditures and.
Yeah, I understand that. I knew that's where you're going. I was just thinking ahead, saying, hey, we got 28.5 that we didn't budget, right? So then we'll do that, then we'll do this other thing. Then we get to the last page where we now budget it, if that makes any sense.
It
But we'll
does.
do whatever is, well, what? I know, we'll do whatever is, I just thought there would be a connection showing to the public saying, hey, we're authorizing 28.5, which we didn't budget for 2024, but the money is now coming from here. But I guess it doesn't matter once you get down to it.
I have something real quick. I know we know what PFAS is, but I think that everybody should understand that it's not just us that's getting hit with PFAS, it's everybody.
Correct. It's the country.
Right.
It's a
So
federal
I think a lot of
regulation.
people don't realize that, so I think they think we're getting hit with all this stuff, and it's just our municipality. It is not.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Can we have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid of $28,500 from GBM LLC with regard to PFAS remediation PER.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The last, spending money. So Crossroads One Sewer Station has failed. The folks, the staff has done a great job of trying to keep it going. However, we are at a point now where we need to get it repaired. And so before you, you will see 5 different proposals within that to repair the station. This is not a new station. This is just repairing the guts that have worn out over the years. So this is a 20-plus year station that's only needed minor fixes. Now it's time to do it. Luckily, we haven't run into a sewage overflow, or we haven't run into a complete failure. So we're trying to, with the delays in some of these products, and then getting people in, cleaning it out, making it safe for our folks to work, and as also the technicians, this is the cost of what it's going to take to repair that station.
And we've had recent repairs on this one, correct, or recent
Minor
failures?
repairs, well, yes. So for some reason, the town's been suffering from power surges and little flickers. And what it does is it throws the breaker in the station. And then what you have is, you have sewage starts to rise and we get a high sewage alarm. When the technician shows up, they just reset the breaker, the pumps work, and everything's cleared off.
So
So
are we gonna, obviously, I would think, contact them and find out if we can do some kind of audit on our
we're,
system?
yeah, we're
Okay.
looking at that because we've
Perfect.
had several different things happen across the town with these little flickers.
Right, I mean, I know we had some problems here too at the town hall,
Mhm.
so, okay. All right. Questions?
Just as a note, Legacy Septic is in this bid because we have to when we shut the pumps down for repair, they have to clean out the whole wet well where the sewage is stored prior to be pumped into the wastewater treatment plant. So their job there for the day is to stay there and continue to pump out anything that comes in, so there's no overflow. So if that looked kind of odd for a Legacy Septic to be, that's why.
Can we have a motion for this, please? for
Do
the
we see
repair?
any other proposals, though, or are these the only ones we got? Or-
So these are the ones that
They're
best fit
best
what we
fit.
have
Okay.
and we can get in. So yes, they are all sole source bids, but they are, basically, we're taking out the old and putting in the same thing at the same time. So there's no change in equipment, going through what's good and what's not. We're just rebuilding the station with new equipment from these vendors that we already have.
So where's this located in Crossroads? Towards the end? On Overlook Court?
And you go down over the hill, I think the water's on the right, the sewer's on the left, isn't it?
I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Closer to the entrance,
No, it's gonna be down a little bit.
okay,
If I'm thinking of,
Before you get up into.
right, but not all the way in the back, correct? It's closer to,
Yes.
I think that's correct, okay.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments? Okay. Could we have a motion for this, please?
I'll make a motion that we, we accept the following proposals for repairs to Crossroads One Sewer Station in the amount of $49,464.88.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
thank you all. The last thing I have on my list is the final piece, is the budget amendment. In front of you are three, the financial administrator and I request the following FY '24 budget amendments. Number one increases revenues to the sewer fund, and then for the purchase of the UTV at the spray fields. The second one increases the sewer fund by transferring $50,000 from the sewer area savings account and increases expenses for the Crossroads One sewer station repair in the amount of $50,000. Number three increases revenue in the water fund by transferring $28,500 from water area savings account, and it increases expenses for PFAS PER by $28,500. Those will take care of all the things we just voted on.
All I can say is I'm very happy we've been fiscally responsible and have the money to take care of this.
Well, yes, and that's true, and Kelly's done a great job, and she's definitely an asset to the town because we are in a great shape to get these repairs done.
Any questions or concerns on this? I mean, I know we just went over it all, but I just want to make sure if anybody has anything else. We have a motion, please, to make the changes to the budget amendments.
Do you want one motion for all three or separate?
Yes, ma'am, I believe we can do one motion for all three.
All right. I make a motion that we make the following fiscal year '24 budget amendments. Increasing the revenues in the sewer fund from the sale of the equipment for $33,339, and increase expenses in the sewer fund for that same amount for the purchase of the UTV to be used at the spray fields. Increase the revenue in the sewer fund by transferring $50,000 from the sewer area savings account and increasing the expenses to the Crossroads One sewer station repair in the amount of $50,000. Additionally, increasing revenue in the water fund by transferring in $28,500 from the Water Area Savings Fund, increasing expenses for PFAS, PER by $28,500.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much for walking through that. I know that was a lot. Finally, you have in front of you the zoning, or you have it in your packet, the code violation report for this month, and Planning and Zoning will be having a meeting on November 21st here at 7 PM. Again, thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you. Police report, Chief?
Yes, ma'am. So for the month of October, we actually had an outstanding month. We did handle 257 calls for service and events. We had 0 Part 1 crime, and I think it's been the first time in a long while we had 0 traffic accidents. So that's a pretty good sign. We still are issuing citations, but again, for the most part, and I was just talking to one of the residents about this, people seem to be slowing down, moving over, paying attention to the stop signs, and always tell them less tickets are better, because we're not out there to ticket everybody, but we will do what we have to do, but I really appreciate the effort by the residents and slowing down in our communities. We did investigate 2 second-degree assaults. Both of them are isolated. The parties involved knew each other, and both of those incidents are cleared. Halloween was a great night. We had great weather. The police probably issued, I think it was approximately 2,500 glow sticks. We had kids from all over Pennsylvania, sent a lot of visitors. Halley literally had thousands of kids. Most of the neighborhoods were packed. The parents were out. The kids were super polite. It was actually a good crowd. Everybody had a good time. Everybody seemed to be involved with it. People had their campfires going, and I think there was some adult trick-or-treating going on as well. I'm not really sure. We don't know about that too much, but I think that was occurring. But everybody was having a good time. It was a great night. So thank you, Manchester, for that. We had 0 issues to report that night. Black Friday, as the mayor said, we're going to have our Christmas walk. It's pretty cool. We're also going to have the train garden. I think that's going to be part of the walk. He's been working on that for probably about 3 months now. So I think that's going to be a pretty nice garden up there. The overdoses, year to date, were pretty much stable. It's a 2% decrease. Fatalities are a 20% decrease. Manchester's holding at 7. Hampstead had 28. Sykesville 5. Tawnytown 15. Mount Airy 6. Westminster 80. New Windsor 4. And Union Bridge 1. So we're pretty much even with last year. I'm glad to see the fatalities are definitely going down. That's all we have to report. It was a good month.
Thank you. Just wanted to say I had nothing but good reports about the police department, as always. I mean, I know we have the best one, so I'm not really worried. But everybody was so happy. And then when I saw them on foot, I was so happy. But yeah, everybody. I had a lot of phone calls, messages, just saying how great they thought it was and how happy they were to see everybody. So that was being on foot was a huge success.
And
Really
kudos
big.
to the fire department as well. They were
Yep.
out there with us. They
Yep.
took 2 corners.
It was great.
It
So
was a good night.
I can't say anything more than that, but thank you. Okay. So comments and questions from the community. It looks like we have one person signed up, Kelly Leonardi. Okay, we'll have to have you come up here because it's recorded, okay? Okay.
And I did notice that the bells stopped, either Saturday or Sunday, the church bells,
Okay.
stopped Saturday or Sunday of this weekend. I don't know if that was done just so no one would come to the meeting tonight.
Can you
'Cause
give
I
us a
know-
little background? Because not everybody here knows what happened, I don't think.
Okay, they're blaring them. I
The
talked
church
to
bells.
Yeah, the church bells. We talked to the police officers. They said told my husband that, they would play them from 10 to 8. That never happened. It's 7:30 in the morning for 30 minutes, and then every hour for like 10 minutes. And then at the end, I think the longest one we, timed was 35 minutes. So, I mean, and they are loud. So after we complained, we noticed that at 9 o'clock, they would play Let Freedom Ring as loud as that would go. And we live off of Maple, and it's a Cape Cod, and there's nothing in between the church and our window, basically. We're above the tree line up there, and I mean, it was like they were in our bedroom with us. It was that loud. So they said there's nothing you can do as far as ordinance because it's a church.
Right, well, they just repaired them. I know they were that way for a long time
Yes.
until they got repaired.
And I'm telling you, it would be karma if they're broken, I think now, because I saw a repair truck out there today.
Had you spoken to anybody at the church or anything?
We
And what
spoke.
did they say?
They got them fixed and they were gonna play them. Now, I'm okay. I love church bells. Don't get me wrong. I do. But not every hour for that. I mean, it was disruptive. And I worked in special needs as a special needs assistant for 10 years in Howard County and Carroll County. I cannot imagine the special needs with sensory issues right across from that elementary school. And I just want to know, like, if I were blaring music in my backyard, like we talked to the police officer, he would have to come to our yard and say, turn it down. But because it's a church. So I think there should just be something to say, hey, I'm fine with like 1 o'clock, 1 bell, 2 o'clock, 2 bells, 3 o'clock, 3 bells. When people are coming and going from church, it's beautiful to hear the bells. But, I mean, they're excited because the bells are, I guess, fixed.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I mean,
Okay, does anybody, I know we have heard from a couple people, but is there any, what do we know about this as far as?
Church bells.
we,
I've lived here my whole life, and they're not any louder than what they've always
9
been.
o'clock, I can tell you it was louder.
Okay. The
9
church
o'clock.
bells returned, I can just tell you from experience, that's what it's been for generations.
Is there,
And-
oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
But do they pay them, they've never played them for that long. We've been in,
Sure. Sure they have. They played them for various periods of time. I mean, they've played them longer, shorter, but you can count on them just about every day.
and they
It's been
said
like
it's
that.
all like church music. It isn't. They play Over the Rainbow. Over the Rainbow is not church music.
I can't comment on the songs I wouldn't recognize even with 6 notes, but the bells have been in
I mean,
the
they
town.
said I called town hall. It started the day after your meeting. Because when we called, they said, well, we just had our meeting that you would have to wait a month. And they said they were getting a lot of complaints. And you can talk to the girl who answers the phone. And she said, yes, they are getting complaints about them.
So when do they start it? What time and what time does it
It
end?
starts at 7:30, usually 7:30
AM?
to 8, and it's on the hour. Every
Until what
hour.
time at night?
9 o'clock.
What's the
And-
sound ordinance in here?
I think it's,
10 o'clock.
10.
Yeah,
10, right?
10
Yeah,
o'clock.
10 to 8 if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, my husband gets up at 3 and 4 in the morning to go to work, and when he comes home at 1, he's tired. He's done his day. He wants to take a nap. And I know there's other people. I mean, I can't imagine running a classroom across the street.
And you
I
talk
really
to them,
can't.
and I'm not saying
Talk
one
to
way or
'em.
the other with the church. I
Talk
mean,
to
that's
'em.
if they rang the bells, but have you lived there a long time? I'm
Yes,
just curious.
I've-
Okay.
we've been there for 3 years, and then I lived off of Susan Ann for 14.
Okay, I was
So,
just curious, 'cause I knew they were
yeah.
broken for a while, so I didn't know if, how long they were broken
And like I
for.
said, I'm fine with them. It's just they're so loud, especially that late at night when you're trying to put your kids to sleep. So I don't know if there's anything you can do as far as,
I mean, I guess we can look into it and see what the story is with the volume of them or something like that. But I know we can't tell them they can't play church bells.
right, exactly.
Um,
And I am aware of that.
right.
But it is loud.
So,
I
You
mean,
know.
you can go in our basement, which has 2 little windows, and you can hear them like you're outside. It's that loud.
I lived near a church my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm used to it, so to
And,
me,
and I,
but,
that's fine, but it got
right. Okay.
a lot of church bells.
Well, the only thing I can say is that we can possibly see if there's anything with the volume. I mean, there's a sound, it's within the sound ordinance time, so it's not like we
Right.
can say you can't. Just like with playing music, I think you can play music, all during that time, right? I guess.
Yes.
But
So,
if it's too loud, can't they come out and say it's too loud, turn it down?
We'll talk to them.
Okay, all right, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll just make mention.
Not making any promises.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
And I didn't know Manchester was such a little rich town.
oh, we're not rich, we try to be very careful with our money.
You may need to arrest me so
Thank
can
you.
see my face.
Okay, we're gonna go on to the committee reports, so, Councilman Nazarov?
Communication, again, is a broad topic, but continue to communicate for everything. It sounds like with the leaves and stuff, people are sharing and telling people what they need to do. And somebody will ask a question, when are leaves getting picked up? And somebody knows within their neighborhood, continue to communicate that. Police officers have continued to communicate and do a good job with the report. Everybody knows that. I think it's one of the reasons we're so safe. And then I would also just add, continue to communicate anything that comes up like Black Friday and also our local businesses. I know it's like Small Business Saturday, so if you can shop small or Small Business Saturday after Black Friday, but shop in Manchester first if you can. So, do you want intergovernmental relations?
Whatever you have.
Okay, so the session's coming up starting in January. Just we got to continue to reach out to our delegates and see what type of funding we can get for a municipality. And we also encourage delegates or any governmental, anybody within the government to attend our events here in Manchester as much as possible. So make themselves notice to everybody that attends here. So the tree lighting, all that to start.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilwoman Howe?
We have no events planned, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. Councilwoman Miller?
Just a couple things. In case you happen to notice, out in front of Town Hall, we have the Municipal Government Works flag up. November is Municipal Government Works month, and one of our requirements for our banner city application is that we do display that flag. So we have that up, and that's what you'll notice if you drive past. Big thanks to Mrs. Smith and the students at Manchester Elementary School who are working hard at work on the decorations that they're going to put on the tree in front of the Historical Center. We went back and forth and had some conversations internally and then with Mrs. Smith in regards to having the students still be able to decorate and participate, but it's pretty far to ask them to come all the way up here. So they're going to decorate the tree that's down there. If you're a student at another school and you're interested in adding some decorations to that tree, please feel free. The tree will be up this week and we expect it to be decorated within the next week or so. Final thing that I have is just a reminder, because we do have leaf pickup and it's been awesome. Our guys have been doing a great job at picking them up. But I have noticed a lot of people are putting their leaves in the streets. And some of our roads are narrow to start. And when we've got leaves on both sides of the street, it makes the street more narrow. And leaves are getting piled on top of the storm drains, which is going to cause, we have not had rain yet, but it has the potential to cause some issues for flooding and that kind of thing. So as you're getting your leaves to the curb, please try your best to keep them off the street, like right along the edge of your property line, so that way we're not going to have any issues with stormwater management and that kind of thing.
Thank you. Councilman Pacelli?
The North Carroll Business Alliance's next meeting is this Thursday at Greenmount Station from noon to 1:30. And they have a Christmas party on December 14th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., but I'm not sure where that is yet.
Thank you. Councilman Cuneo?
I attended the October 17th Plan and Zoning committee meeting. May have been the shortest meeting I've been to in 2.5 years doing this role. And all the items that we had on the list were pended and moved to this month's meeting, so nothing to report.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm happy to announce that we have a new youth representative, finally, Megan Rice. She will be here every month, we hope, with her report. So she can tell you a little bit about herself and her school and where she is.
So I'm a senior at Manchester Valley. I'm part-time there, part-time down at the Tech Center in Westminster. Is it on?
Yeah, just pull it a little closer.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
It's been a pretty cool month at Manval. This weekend, Anastasia opened up, and it was their first weekend. They had shows on Friday and Saturday. But for anyone who wasn't able to see it, they'll be back again this weekend with a show on Friday and then 2 shows on Saturday. And they also have the tea party on Saturday. I think it's in between shows, so that's a good activity to like bring kids out. They get to meet the cast, go to a tea party. Last Saturday, the 11th, they had the Veterans Dinner, and that was hosted by the class of 2024 as well as the SGA. National Honor Society in the Fine Arts Department, and that was a really good turnout. The school was, it was a real privilege for them to be able to honor the men and women who've served in the community. And right now, we're just sort of like at a transition period between fall sports and winter sports. The fall sports just ended. I know the football season just ended. And so tryouts are starting up for basketball, for these other winter sports, and we're just waiting for those to get started so that way we can go out and watch the games and whatnot. That's all that's happening right now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for your report. We appreciate it. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody on Black Friday at 6 o'clock here at Town Hall. It's going to be exciting. And I think that's it. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Okay, good night.